we'll take the example of my website. When you load a website, what you see on the page is a combination of these three things. First of all, let's talk a bit about HTML. So, if you do this, if you right click anywhere on the website, click on inspect, go to elements, you will see something like this. Now, all of this might not make any sense at all, but that's absolutely fine. I was in your place too, but I hope I can teach you some things about this so that at the end of the day, this does make sense. Uh, so what all of this is basically the HTML that the browser is showing to you. Okay, so this is just the outline of the website. If you hover over all of these things, you'll see that each of these weird looking tags is one individual element on the page. So this is the HTML of the site. Now, what exactly is HTML? What exactly is CSS? What exactly is JavaScript? So the HTML of the site basically lets you describe the layout of the website. So for example, if I write H1 Daivat, then it will interpret as I want to show a heading with the content Daivat. CSS lets you decorate this stuff. See, using HTML only, you cannot make the site pretty. This only declares how your content will be structured. Okay, if I add another H1 uh, thingy, web development, this just basically tells the browser that I want to see two headings. One heading should be Daivat, the other another heading should be web development. See, you cannot change this styling using HTML. Well, you can, but that's not the way you should do it. So, if you, I'm sure you have written some C programs. Maybe some of you would have written Java programs, C++ programs. There are basically two types of statements that you must have written. Something like int c is equal to 10, and then you check that if c is less than 20, do something. Okay, so HTML is this step. You are just declaring things. You are not doing anything with it. You are not trying to do run any processes on it. You are just telling the browser that this is what I want. This in C you would say that this is the variable I want. This is the data structure I want. On the web, you say that these are the things I want. It's actually much more visual on the web. So I hope this makes some sense. Uh, Now, let me give you a brief example of what CSS does. Don't worry if this doesn't make any sense right now. I'm sure Miral will explain this in more detail. But for now, I just want to show you what CSS actually does. So if I write, this should be a color blue. See, this is what happens. Here I am telling the browser that I want two headings, and this is where I'm telling the browser how I want them to look. Okay, um, so these two things combine together and make the website look actually good. Uh, but as you can tell, the website doesn't really do anything right now. It's just there. It You can't do anything with it, right? Um, if you want to do something, let's say, let's, I don't know, let's look at this. this website somehow knows that I'm not logged in. Okay. And when I press Control S, it somehow knows that, oh yes, I have to run this code again. How does it do this? uh, how does it know that I'm not logged in? That's where you need JavaScript. You need JavaScript to implement any logic you want on your website. You can use JavaScript to maybe fetch some data. You can use JavaScript to, I don't know, programmatically add some things to your website. Uh, like I mentioned here earlier, that this is the part where JavaScript kicks in. This is what you did with HTML. This is what JavaScript does. So let me give you an example if I can. So uh, let's try this. Okay, so what's happening here is I told the browser that I want to show an alert which has the text hello in it. So when I press Control S, uh, it shows me the alert. Yeah, I hope this makes some sense. If this is too much at this time, I can totally understand, because this could be totally new for some of you. It may some of you might already know this, but if this is too much at this time, it's completely fine. Don't worry. We'll take this one at a time. I'll just introduce you to HTML at the moment. But I just wanted to give you a brief overview of what all of these three moving parts do. So we will turn our focus to completely to HTML now. Okay. Uh, okay. So that's what we have for right now. Just HTML. Now, there's definitely more to HTML than just headings. Okay. If you inspect any website, by the way, this is a really great way to learn web development. You can just go on basically any website. You can go to Google and just inspect it and see what's going on, what's the HTML they've written. This is the cool thing about web development. Everything is in your browser and you can see everything. You can see all of the JavaScript, all of the CSS, everything for any website. Okay. So as you can probably tell, there is way much more to a website than just HTML. There is a lot of styling involved. There is a lot of buttons. And obviously, if you search something, Google knows different ways to customize the result for you. It knows that I am signed in. It knows that I want to use the dark mode of the website. So there's a lot of things going on. But let's just focus on the HTML now. I'll try to recreate my personal website here. Just this section on the left. So yeah, let's. So I copy this text from here, refresh this. So this is a paragraph element. Uh, what I did is just basically copy this thing from here and put it here. So this is one of the other HTML tags. This weird looking thing. This is called an HTML tag. Uh, basically, this is a way to tell the browser what that I want a paragraph element to be displayed. Okay, so what you're doing with HTML is telling the browser, this is what I want to see on the page. This is the layout I want to see on the page. Now, in languages like C and C++, what you would do is maybe you will declare a variable, an integer. C, maybe you will declare a map in Java with I don't know. Yes, ma'am. So this is the type of the variable. This is the type of the variable. In HTML, this is where you uh, write the type of the content you want to see. This is much better. Actually, this is much easier to interpret than in languages like C, because you are
Harsh,
not
are you
just
David? Are you able to hear
yes,
me?
ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Harsh want to some ask on some question. Harsh,
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
yes, Harsh, what you are asking?
I am asked about to ask like कोई भी मेरा डिवाइस हो any device like I'm using any mobile phone, so I can properly if my website have a lot of text or lot of images, it properly fix on that screen. How can I do that?
That's where you need CSS. You need CSS for that. HTML just declares the order of things on your page. Okay, it doesn't tell your browser what size your content should be, or when on which screen should it be of which size. That's what CSS does. HTML just tells the sequence in which things should be, and the styling comes on top of that. Maybe you can think of HTML like a blueprint for a building. Okay, so when uh, someone, I don't know, I'm not really an architect, but when they want to uh, create a prototype for a building, they create a blueprint, just a basic wireframe of where things would be. So that's HTML, and on top of that, you can make it pretty. Okay, right now it doesn't look really pretty, but CSS will help you do that. I'm sure Meeral will show us some ways to do it, but let's just focus on HTML for now. Okay. Any other questions, or should I continue?
David, just resolution
Continue.
can increase because the fonts are very small.
Okay, ma'am.
And apart from that, the website on which you are working on may possible that students are having their laptop. They can start with that. They can work with simultaneously. Write in the chat box
Yes,
whatever you are using.
yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So you can just open this and have a similar workspace. You can follow along if you want to. Hello. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
David. You
yes.
are.
Okay. Okay. Uh, See, I might sound like I'm just a stuck tape, but HTML helps you declare the layout of the page. This is really important. That's why I'm repeating it again and again. This is a heading. Okay, so what you might have noticed that there is this section of links on my website. Uh, Now, how do links work? When you click on them, apparently they magically redirect you to whatever the link is supposed to be, but how do they work? So this is how you put links on your website. Okay. Google doesn't want us to open it, but basically, this A tag is called the anchor tag. A stands for anchor. Okay, so you just declare whatever link you wanted to open. So this is, for example, just a link to Google. If I open it, there it is. Again, these are just some different HTML tags. This might be too much at the moment, but don't worry. This will all of this will make sense. Uh, what I'm again and again stressing on is that HTML is the building block of your website. Okay. You cannot A website cannot function without HTML. Uh, so if you were to see that, if I remove this thing uh, and just compare this to this, so that's the difference when a site has CSS and when it doesn't have CSS. Okay, but without HTML, there is no point of CSS, because CSS styles the content that is already there, if that makes any sense. If there is no content, then CSS cannot do anything. And same goes for JavaScript. You cannot do, there is no point in writing JavaScript if there is no HTML on your page. Okay. So yeah, I gave you maybe 2 or 3 examples of different tags on HTML. But why exactly do we need to let's say write HTML first? Okay. Uh, why do we need to use HTML, CSS, JS? Can we not use something else, like maybe some of you might have heard of React or Angular? So why are we learning this? See, React and Angular, all of those things are called frameworks. Okay, so whenever you open a React application, see, this is a React application. In the end, see it. Oh, just like it says here, it is a production build of React. Now, React, when you build it, this might not make a lot of sense right now, but uh, what I'm trying to say is, no matter what framework you are using, no matter if you're using React, no matter if you're using Angular, no matter if you're using Vue.js, in the end, the um, the output that the browser sees, the browser displays to you, is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So that's why we are here, to give you some introduction about these 3 things. Okay, think of this like a compilation. When you write code in C, you have to compile it before you can run it, right? This this is exactly the same thing. Everything that you see on the web, every website out there, be it GitHub, this, anything that you see eventually gets compiled to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. If you know these 3 things, you can build anything that you want, any type of web application that you want. Okay, you can build your own version of Facebook, you can build your own version of YouTube, you can do anything. Okay, so that's why we are here to learn about these 3 things. I don't know. Let's see. What next should I? Uh, so here's one fun thing that you can do on any website. Let's say, let's see this website. You can right click on inspect, click on this thing. I don't know if you can see it, but I hope it's big enough. Okay, and just hover over different things. Okay, look. Can you look just below where my cursor is? It's showing H2. Okay. Now it's showing li again h2 li, and this is an anchor tag, the one we saw here. So all of these are different HTML tags. Okay. Uh, the H2 tag is just another type of heading. The A tag is like the one we saw, the one we use for links. Okay. Uh, the ally tag is used for list. Ally stands for list item. Uh, and basically you can just hover over about anything that you see, and you'll find different HTML tags that are used there. And another great resource where you can learn about HTML tags is MDN Docs. This is where you can find almost anything that you want about HTML. All of these tags, I'll put the link here. And one more thing that I want to clear is HTML is not a programming language. As you can see, it's not a programming language. It's not like C, C++, or JavaScript or Java. It's a markup language. Now, what does markup language exactly mean? See, when you write HTML, you describe the content of your website. But like I said, I know I'm repeating myself, but see, you cannot add logic unless you have JavaScript. HTML only declares what you want to see on the web page. Okay, I can just add another paragraph here, and this is a horizontal rule. So that's the line. Maybe I want to see a link. This is a link. You see, none of this has any logic attached to it. Everything is just like you are telling the browser, this is what I want to see, and that's it. Okay, you cannot do if statements, you cannot do for loops, no logic. Okay, so that's why it's not a programming language, it's just a markup language. And they have mentioned it here that HTML is generally used to describe a web page, and CSS describes its appearance, presentation, and JavaScript adds the functionality and behavior on top of it. Okay, so I've dropped the link in the chat. Try writing this here and press Ctrl S, or you can click on run. See, just you can do anything. You can write anything. You can try writing your own name. Maybe try writing a paragraph. Maybe try creating a list. And maybe you can add an image as well. There you go. Like someone asked that, how can I make the image fit in on all screen sizes? As you can see, it does not fit in at all by default. So that's where CSS will come in. I'm sure Miral will show you how to do it. Okay. So yeah, this was just my point. Try adding anything to it. All HTML elements are listed here. W3 schools, is also a great way to learn about different HTML tags. You know, all of these things you can try. All of these you can build tables. You can build uh, I don't know, quotations. You can use emojis. All of these. So I'll also drop the link for this. You should definitely give this a go. Try running your code, see if you like it. Okay. And don't be frustrated if you are overwhelmed at first. If you think that, oh, what do I do now? I don't know anything about all of this. It's totally fine. In 2019, when I was in second year, I was just getting started with all of this, and now this is all second nature. It seems natural. So don't worry at all. Just give it a go. Don't be afraid. Just keep trying. Okay. There are a lot of resources. Google will be always be your best friend. Whenever you want to do something, let's say you want to build a responsive image on your website. So how to build a responsive image for my website, HTML, CSS, and you'll find 100 different guides on what you want, how you can do it. Okay. So just keep experimenting, uh, keep building things. Okay. That's the most important thing. That's how I learned whatever I learned. Keep building, always keep building. Whenever you see a website and you think that, oh, I wonder how the person who built it actually built it, try building it yourself. Okay, that's the best way to learn. If you wonder how Facebook works, try building it yourself. That's why web development is so fun, because anyone can build anything. So yeah, have fun, keep learning, and keep building. And if you have any doubts, please don't hesitate in reaching out to me. Okay. If you have any questions right now, feel free to ask. So yeah, this was just a brief introduction to web development. And I hope Miral will show you around CSS some more.
Yes, thank you, David. That was a nice
Thanks, ma'am.
introduction to HTML. So basically, tags are there, everything is there. What you have to do is use it. Just check yourself that what exactly it does, isn't it? So the guidance is given, and yes, Kalash, you has written that HTML body had this is not to be written because the browser itself is for HTML only.
Yes. So if you were to write it inside something like Visual Studio Code or any text editor, then you would have to write HTML. But since this is an online playground, you don't have to write it here. Okay. In reality, you actually have to link all of these files together. But when you are learning, you don't need to worry about that. You can get to those things later. For now, you can just uh, write HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Simply just write it. You don't have to worry about linking or anything else. And yes, Harsh, Free Code Camp is a great resource.
Okay, so second year, third year students. What is my concern is after learning HTML and CSS, write yourself. Like apart from that, what I want is at least create your resume. Create your resume in which you are having your own photograph, you are having your own achievements written in tabular form, written in some bullet forms. So this will give you just hands-on that exactly how you can create a resume, and even CSS will beautify the same. So let us
Yes,
see
ma'am.
that. Yes, David, you want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. I was just saying that I totally agree because that was also the first ever site I created. So that's where it all started. So that's
Yes.
definitely a good place to start.
So all of you, just try for create your own ratio, and if you are not evaluating yourself, tell your friends that how it looks, what modifications are needed, or what more things you want to improve in that. And gradually you will know that only HTML it is looking somewhat static. Using CSS, the beauty will modify, and using JavaScript, even you will see that a lot many responsive things will come. So I think Meera will start. David, whether it is over, you want to discuss something?
No, ma'am, I'm just going to paste the link to the website that I showed. So
Okay.
maybe they want if they want to take some inspiration from that, they
Yes,
can do
yes,
it.
yes, sure, sure, sure.
Okay. Thanks, ma'am. Thank you,
Oh,
guys.
thank you, David. That was a nice session. And at the end of the session, we will take feedback of both the speakers. And I think Meera may start the presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
So Meera is again our final year student, and he is quite expert. I had seen his work in CSS, the beautification and the look. What he is working on is quite good. So we can have a lot, much knowledge from him.
So, can you screen my screen?
Yes, yes, it is visible, Meera.
Okay. So, I'm gonna start with the HTML. Sorry, I am CSS. So, I put just side by side too, so you can easily see the code and the visualization of that. So, as you can see, there's a HTML element text all over the places, because that's how you can put a boilerplate over there for the websites. And this is the boilerplate for the whole HTML. They put in the HTML tags and the body and the header tag. So basically what we're gonna do is just these are the header tags where we put a meta tag that's help in SEO and for the preview of the links. And this is the title of your website. This is just a normal comes with document. And this is the H1 tags and H3 tags and the anchor tag. So what we're gonna do is just wanna style those things. So there are three ways we can style HTML element tags. Like the first one is the normal, the inline style one, which you just put the color over here and just add the right color. So wait a minute, it's already on. So you can see there is a red color over here just by adding the in the inline styles. Like we can add the H1 over here and add the color of blue. To save it, and this we got the color. But this is, I won't say this is a best practice to add the style to style the HTML elements, because if sometimes the style got bigger and bigger and the code going to get longer, and we don't want that to mess up the code. And the second way we can use is just put yeah put the style tag, the style HTML element tag, and then we can style the just grab the H1 by just H1 name and add the color of red. See the H1 whole H1 are get selected by just was using H1 tag in the HTML style element tag. So I won't say this is a still best practice, but you can use it if your code is so small. The best practice I will say is just create a new HTML CSS.css file, and the link to it's your main HTML file. Like yeah. So now if we can just HTML and add the color of red. See the style is applied to the color of red. So yeah, now we have to select those elements. There's like H1, H1, H3, and anchor tag. So how we can select? It's just I want to give the style to the first H1 element, not the second one. So I can give it to that. So just I just add the class the selector, you have to just name the class name. Just I will just give it heading, and if I put over here the selector name already start the class selector name just start with heading dot sorry dot, and then put the class name. So as you can see that is just going to style the heading where we have the added the class. So you can see there h3 and anchor tag. Okay, so now I am going to there's a next place. There's a selectors. Okay, start the new server. Okay, we got it. So yeah, now we go over the selectors. So the first selectors we have discussed earlier the how to select the HTML element tag. So first we have to go to h1 and add the color red, or you can choose any color over here by the VS Code extension. It's just really great tool for writing codes. So we have select the HTML element tags, and you can select any tag. There's a paragraph tag. We give a color of what we can say the color of blue. See all the you can select this way, but what is this there's it just mess up the code to select by the whole HTML because you don't want to style every single thing as the same. So we have to give them a class name. So what happens if I've select them by the class name by the heading one. Now if you go for the heading one and just change the color. Okay, so this is how we can add the what we can say styles to a specific element tag. And yeah, there's something with the selectors. You can select them with the ID too. Just as a paragraph tag, I give an ID. But there is small, what we can say, there is some rare time that you are given ID because it's a unique element you have to give there. You don't have to give everyone ID. You can just use it by a class name also. So I have just give a para and dot para. And if I add a color, a sun. Oh, sorry. So what is the idea with ID hashtag? So yeah, now it's gonna work. So now there's the ID selector tag, and third one is a global selector tag. Start with the star, and now you just try anything. It just applied to whole HTML. Your whatever present between the HTML, it just applied to all of that. It's like if I write, yeah, I have to. See, everything is color red only now. So that's how this global selector uses. We can use the global selectors. Now the specificity. So what this means, okay? So what specificity do is how the HTML tags using as a selector and the class and the ID and the global selectors, what are the priorities which gonna select the maximum. Like I have the class head over here and I have an ID over here. So if I give a class, so first let's start it with the main one, the HT1 element tag. So select the H1, the color, give a color, let's give green. Color green. It's selected properly. Wait a minute. Okay, sorry, this is a different one. I just start the new one. Yeah, this color red. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, this is a H1 tag we have selected as a color. But what happens if I write again H1 and add a color blue? See, it's just change the color. It doesn't give a priority to this one. This is now started giving priority to this one. As we can write another H1 is going to prioritize this one. Prioritize the last one we have written because it goes from up to down in priority wise. So that's why we have used an we have used the class and ID tag. So yeah, what I gave the class header. If I add a color and this I add a color red, so it's gonna showing you the H1 color red. But what if I add an ID over here? Add color green. So you can see. You can also say that it's going to up and down, but it's not really. You can just put ID over here and it's still going to the ID because ID is the most priority in the HTML. CSS selectors, right? Just added the, we can say, yeah, the class comes next. And the first gives the header tag. There is the most catchy thing you can use, like, yeah, the important tag. If you give the important tag to anyone, it's just give those styles to the HTML because the important is much more better than ID, but it's people use that because it's kind of just risky. So now we have done with the specificity. If you have any question about that till now, you can ask now. Yeah, I will do that fun later. Gosh. Now the basic is clear. The RGB we can do that. Like, yeah, let's do that fun thing. Yeah, we can add H1 and the color. You can, there's the hex color and there's the RGBA color. The A stands for opacity. We don't have to use that. Or we can say alpha. I don't remember properly. But yeah, the RGB, we can use 255, the common color. It's a white, sorry. We have to go for 0. Black. That's how you use the RGB. The hex code will be for that will be 00000. So hex code for the black color. And A for use for opacity, you can just give the opacity of 0.5 and just look bit duller. So where we now the specificity is over. So now we can go for the which we can go for, yeah, the box model. The box model is kind of tricky and the main thing. Yeah, we have done with, yeah, on the box model. So you can see in the basic HTML, we can go for any site, which we can go for, yeah, like I will go to the sites and just make it bigger. I want to use the inspector. So you can, yeah, just select this like image over here. And the box model, what you use, this is the box model of that page, or we can say image of this. So there's a margin over here. There's no border and no padding in this image, and there's a content over here. So basically, now we are using the box model is a basic type of box model. What it will do is just so we can say, see, there is a div, or we can say a box, and there's a content over here surrounded by padding and the surrounding by margin all over the site, same as over here. And padding will do is add the inner border, just like it's invisible border, but is keep on growing if you put it. And margin is give you a sideways, like you can put give a left shade some margin on the top, so it can the box can get down, and the left and the bottom same as well. So normally we are using the normal box model, which we just if you have a width of 300 pixels, just suppose, and the designer says that you have to put that width of the box only 300 pixels and not much more than. So in which case, if you add a padding in the normal size, just it can just it will increase the what thing is a border size, and just put it over here. If you add a padding of 10 pixels, so it just give a 10 pixel over here and 10 pixel over here, so it give total 320 pixel. Well, the designer says you have to put it in a 3 pixels. So in the normal box models, we use what we can say box size in the border box. The border box, what we'll do is just add a padding on inner side. It will not increase the size of any div. Like if I have selected every single div and add a background color of green. See, it's a green. Now if I have a width of 300 pixel, see the now the width of 300 pixel. Now if adding padding of 10 pixel on each side, and if we now inspect it, yeah, now it's see there's a 300 pixel, there's additional 10 pixel, so the total size would be, it says 320 right beside div. So we don't want that, we just want 300 pixels. So where we have used and global tag, we can add a, we just use a box sizing of border box. So now it's just 300 pixel, but is going to add a 10 pixel inside. So the width of the div is not going to increase. See, the div of the is 300 pixel. That's where the box model came in handy. Its box model is just basically apply on every HTML tag. It's just apply on div. It just also apply on H1, apply on P tag and anchor tag. Everywhere is going to apply. Yes. Anyone have any question? Oh, but for the box model? Nope. Okay. So after completing models, we can go for the pixels. So how we define sizes in the HTML. Okay. So we are heading to the pixels now. So yeah, the pixels. So we define size in pixels. So if we can select the P tag and give a size of font size. The font size is a property we have to select to increase the size of any fonts. And if I gave a size of say 20 pixel, it increased, and we can give any size over here. It's pixel by pixel size. We can get 100. But what is this that the pixels are not very relevant things to use over in the website because it's just not responsive at all. It's just so big, and if you go to mobile, it just can't readable. So yeah, what we can do, there's another thing we can use beside pixels is just EM. What does EM do? It gets the size from its nearest nearest parent element, like this p tag as a nearest parent element section, where this p tag has a div, and where the div has a parent element section. So it's going to divide over div and the section. Like you give the size of fonts. If I can remove this thing on these things and add. See what section do? What section speed do is just add the size. So basically the thing is the HTML, the main tag of website has a basic font size of 16 pixels. Yeah, the basic font size of 16 pixels. Based on that, if you use one over here, is going to give a 16 pixel to everybody because that's what global 16 pixel is. 1.5 m. So you see that we have given 1.5 m, but still this one is bit smaller than this one, right? So what section has done, the section has a parent element of body, right? The body has a body is in HTML, so it's have a it has done 16 multiplied by 1.5. So that's what has the sections has done. So it give a size of its child element paragraph of 16 pixels. Sorry, 16 multiplied by 1.5. Where the div, there's this div which is inside the section, which has done like it's give first it go for the section, this parent element which has a 1.5 size right over here. So it just do 1.5 from the HTML multiply by 1.5 from the section tag, and then it's multiplied by 16. Or sorry, from the HTML is 16 and the own size 1.5. Now that's what div has done with the paragraph tag. So that's why we don't use any of them. Basically, is this for learning. We've used what we can say RAM, which is take only a global size from the HTML 16 pixel. It doesn't go for any parent element, just go for 16 pixel only. So if you have 1.2 RAM and it gave a size of 1.2 RAM. Basically the same size. It's not going to multiply or over that. It's just same size, and it's also a responsive also. See, much more responsive. Depend on the development also, you have given the size. The pixels RAM and E. And now we can go for position, I think so. Yeah, we can go for positions. So these are the box I have created from the div HTML tag. So I think what we can do is just start from basic. So there's a parent element, just a container tag. We have given a class of container. So if I add container and give a width or a size of anything, like we have give a width of 80% and a height of 80%. So you can see there is nothing you can see over here. Like we have used the background color. Use let's say cyan. See, if there's a content over here, it's going to show. But if what if we remove the content? It doesn't going to show because it doesn't have a content over here. It's the div only is a blank tag which is used for styling of boxes, and you can use for 3D elements, and also the div is the main tag you're gonna use. Going to use if you are going to use any React or any framework you are going to use. And yeah, so how we gonna make it look bigger? We just had the HTML and gave the height of 100%. So now we can see that. Okay, sorry, you have to use body also. Yeah, now we're seeing it. See, now it's 80% and 80% from both the side, up and down. You just center it down by adding a margin. So yeah, so now in the positions we have the I say it's a 4 or 5 positions. So there's a box, div under div dot container and a box. That's how we select the parent's childs. Like if you have a container and we have inside a div element, you can just put it besides the box, the container, and sorry, you have to add div and add a height of 300 pixel and the width of 300 pixel. And now we can do is this. Still, I'm saying there's nothing in the contact. We have to so you have both the 300 pixel, and we have the color of, let's say, green. It's not applying height and width of 300 pixel, the color green. We can that container have a div. Oh, nope. Container div and height and width of 300 pixel and color green. I don't know why it's not applying, but just if you're going to go for position, just go with this thing. Yeah, you have applied the height and width of container, and yeah, I have the text and I removed it. Sorry. Yeah, so these are the 3 boxes we have created, given RGB color over here, and that the first we're going to position is the position absolute. So if I give a position of absolute over here, see what it does. It just remove the, it just throw it outside the HTML, or we can see our body, or we can see that thing. So we have to give them a position because it's absolute. It's going to be somewhere. So we have to give a top left and bottom left. So here, yeah, it's our box, the green box. And you can give a top 0, left 0. It's just going to be over here. And you can also give top 10. Oh, and but you can give top, bottom, and okay, this is from 10 pixels. So this is position absolute. The position absolute, you don't have to use it much often, but if you are using it, you have to give a something container or yeah, the parent div position of relative. So it's related to that size. Like if you give a content of position relative, and then so see it's just right here. I have an absolute. It's over here. Yeah, you just move it up here automatically. It's just in the main container div, not going outside. If I add it bottom 0 and the right 0, it is going to down over here, just inside this container, not going outside. Just how this relative position work. Now, if we, yeah, what you have seen the nav bar, right? Like nav bar just stay up here. If you scroll down, there's still up the nav bar up here. So that's how those work. So those works with the, let's add the, go with the red color. We have the position and we are going to add a position of fixed. See, the red color is now fixed up on top. I'm scrolling down. It's just still on fixed up on top. We can still give this the top 10 pixel. See, but it's going to fix just over there. That's how nav bars on most of the website works right now nowadays. And the next position is sticky. Let's use another day for this. Position sticky. Right. Now you can see the yellow. The yellow box just position have a sticky, so it's going to stick right over there. If I give a top of 50%, it's going to stick over there. I'm scrolling down, it's just going to stick over there. See, that's what position sticky works. And you are going to mostly use absolute and relative, and sometimes you have stick fixed, but there's a rare condition you're going to use sticky one. Okay, that's how position works in HTML and CSS. Now we can go for the, display. So you can say that the most of the time the display of how the element is showing, like the things is that, so you can start like how add a h1 tag, it's just show hey. If I show paragraph tag and write anything over here, gibberish, and so now I can showing what we can say bottom of the h1 tag, not the beside of it. So why is behaving like this? Because it's a normal HTML feature. I won't say that's a feature, but it's h1 taking the whole the size. You can say the whole size of the website. So why it's behaving like this? Because it has an what we can say a display of block, which is the default value of display block. That's h1 and paragraph tag is comes with. If we use anchor tag, just like we have a website and we have like at a Google, so it shows bottom place. And if we add another anchor tag, so what do you think where it will show? So let's say Facebook. So it's a beside, because it's using an inline display, which is a default for anchor tags and other most HTML elements which using display inline. But what if you want to show them also like these things? What we can say is we're gonna grab the anchor tag by using a tag and just add a display of block and see, voila, it's just up and down, just like those things. And the thing is that inline block, we can't style them. Like we have a H1. This is H1 we have selected. Let me see. Yeah, this H1. We have a background, and we have a color of green. Let's say it's a background green. You can see we can add padding. See, we can add padding and margin. Yeah, we can add margin too. Let's say 50 pixels. Yeah, it's a margin of 50 pixel from upside. What's with the anchor tag is you can't style them like this. You can add the background still though, but you can't add the padding. Oh, you can add the padding. Yeah, same thing. Live specific. Strange behavior. You can't. So padding is applying. Basically, previous one is not applying. Select anchor tag and the padding. Put applying. Okay, so the padding is applying on the anchor tags. Basically, what anchor tag are display inline and previous. Yeah. Okay. So if we add a anchor tag and add a display of block and if you want to behave these things, also these things right over here, we can just add a display of or we can display like block and remove. Also, you have to put them in H1 and add e tag and add a display of inline block. See, it's now beside because we have the default is block just and we have to add the inline block beside those things. So this is how gonna display work. So there are other more than these two things that we can use the display flex and display grid because those are the white topic and it's gonna take so much time. It's already takes so much time by in CSS only. So this is what's the basic things of CSS and how it's gonna work. You have to keep looking for the other website which is more stylish and more good looking. You can go over there and just inspect it. Just click on it and you can see all the styles over here. If I remove all the padding, just the normal website, right? We can see all the stylings over here. So that's from my side. If you have any question, what is the Flex is go-to approach used for layout management in CS nowadays. Position also work, but yeah, the Flex is what I say. The Flex is mostly used right now. Flex and uh,
Okay, Miral, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I think that the students who are really interested in coding and they got the real introduction of these two topics, which are HTML and CSS. So from my side, I just want you people to try for build your own resume. So Miral has used Visual Studio Code, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
That is easily available, and you people are working for your C programming on that, Java programming on that. So that is freely available on. Even Devet has shown you that online editors are there on which you can type your HTML, and then on the spot you can see that what type of responses you are getting. So have
And
a hands-on experimentation. Yes, Miral, you want to say
uh,
something?
the VS Code is just do is provide more extensions, so it's easy to program and helpful.
Yes, yes. For the beginners, say I should say my experience as far as website developments are concerned. That initially before 10 to 15 years, when we were developing at that time, we were using Notepad.
Yes, ma'am.
So in Notepad, we were doing ASP related. First of all, HTML were written, and then CSS was not so much in use then too. ASP coding was done in Notepad, and then no specific studios were available, or you can say frameworks were available. But then too, the main thing is logic, isn't it? So
Yes,
how
ma'am.
to use it, that is always there. But the thing is, what you want to develop, that is within your mind. Then the idea will come easily, that from where to grab the things which are needed for developing the same, isn't it? So from my
Yes.
side, I am asking all the students that better to create your own resume. At least you can develop your resume, and try to see that without CSS how it will look like. So it will look like as if you are not using any color pens or nothing within your notebook, and you are writing something, one passage or one paragraph. But when you are having different colorful pens, then you can write something using those colorful pens. You can decorate it. So that is the use of your CSS, isn't it?
Yes.
So I want that at least you can mail me, and I'll just give you one reward or appreciation to the student who will provide me the best resume. That you can write the code, mail it to me. I'll check it out whether whose resume is the best. Are you getting this? So it is static page only. Using CSS and HTML, you are getting static page only. But we'll see that how to provide validations, how to provide on-click event. So this type of things you will have in sessions of JavaScript. So basically, our aim was to provide you introduction with React, which is currently going on. But as you people are telling that HTML, CSS, JavaScript is not known to you, only introduction portion was given to you, and even sources from where you can get it more. So, Miral, can you specify from where you can get CSS apart
Uh,
from U3 School?
uh, uh, Apart from W3 School, I will say CSS Tricks is a great website to start from.
Okay.
You can learn so much over here. And
You may write
that's
in the chat box so that those links would be copied by the students,
okay.
and further they can use those. Okay, good.
And if you need any help regarding HTML, CSS, or anything related to development, you can contact me.
Yes, yes, sure, sure.
Okay.
They are your juniors only. They will definitely will contact you.
Okay.
The thing is, they should know that exactly what they have to do.
Okay.
Unless and until my goal is not known to me, I won't start the journey, isn't it? So where I
Yes.
have to reach, that reaching point is not known to me, I won't start the journey, because this is the human nature, that unless and until you're forcing him or her to do some task, he won't start any task or any work. So anything you want to, Devet or Miral, that
Yes.
this student should do something.
Ma'am, if you talk about the uh, end goal, uh, uh, so there are a lot of things you can do once you know how to build a website. First of all, the web development is the most popular sector in terms of jobs. So if you know how to build a good website, so you will never be out of a job. You will always be paid well, and all those things. Uh, Another source of motivation is that if you know how to build websites, you can pretty much build anything, any idea that you have. So if you want to build the next Facebook. If you want to build blockchain projects, anything, you if you want to build your own version of YouTube, you can build pretty much anything that you want. So that's like a really powerful skill to have, and you will
So
also meet.
students can grouply work together, and I think that one day we may have our own Indian Facebook, something like that, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So we don't have to rely on the outsiders, that their websites we are using, even WhatsApp and all this stuffs. Say our programmers are quite good logically
Yes,
working on. Say
actually, on all of these big companies, let's say Facebook, Google, YouTube, or any new product that comes out, an Indian is always there in the
that's
engineering team leading the way. So it's
yes,
pretty
that's
common.
only the main problem is that of money. So they are paying less in India, so they are skipping from here and they are going over there and doing the job for them.
Yeah.
So the main thing is business peoples, they are earning money, but the logic is ours.
Yes.
Yes.
But hopefully things are improving.
Yes, for
It's
that.
getting easier and easier to work with teams. If you are staying in India and you can work with teams from there, so hopefully things will improve.
Yes, sure, it will improve. So students, those who have listened, just kindly provide the feedbacks so that even our speakers will improve and will try to include. How was the session?
Yes, ma'am, it was a quite good experience.
Okay, so Dev, what I want, one resume from your side.
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Okay, so David, when would be the second session of JavaScript?
Uh,
Have you planned?
ma'am,
Because I want that this student should work for this HTML and CSS for at least 2 days.
hmm. Ma'am, let's have it on maybe Monday, so that would give them enough time, or whenever it's comfortable.
Okay, we'll do. Even we can discuss among that Google group, code group representatives. Okay.
Hmm.
Other students, anyone else wants to give the feedback exactly what is expected and what you want? You can write in chat box if you are not comfortable with speaking out. But the thing is this only, that if you want to face industry, then this shyness of yours has to be removed. Otherwise you won't go till the peak.
Yes, even
Percent.
if you think that I did not explain something well, please feel free to like enter. Don't worry about anything.
It was great session. I get to know new things. Thanks a lot, ma'am, senior students. Thank you, Josh.
And if you
And
need any help,
if you yes, if you need any help while you try to build your resume, which I highly recommend, you can please like don't hesitate in reaching out to any of us. You can maybe get my WhatsApp number from your classmates, or you can either message me on Twitter or anything. I'll answer back. I'll help you. So don't hesitate.
So, David, what was the journey when you were selected in Gujarat Hackathon? So, what extra knowledge has to be needed if you want to participate in this type of hackathons?
Uh, Ma'am, so the most important uh, thing that helped us was that we had some experience in building web applications from once we have the idea. So by the time we applied to the hackathon, we had me and my teammates had done some courses on different technologies. We knew a little bit of React by then, so we had built some applications. So we knew how to connect an API to the front end, or let's say if you came and told me that, hey, this is you have to build, we could build it in 7 days or 2 weeks or something like that. So the most important thing is that you build actual projects. Okay, nothing is more important than that. You just have to keep building things, even if you think that this is quite pointless, but It's not every single project of yours will help you eventually.
Yes,
So
that's true. So first project which the Code Club wants to provide you is build your own resume. Try to magnify it as much as possible. So once you're looking at your own resume, you will be able to know that exactly you learn something. Getting that? So all the links for learning further. So this was just an introductory session, and if you want to learn in depth, then the links are provided by Devet and Miral both. So anyone else wants to say something? Yes, Kalash is there. Kalash, you want to say something? Where are my code representatives? Rumasya, just turn on your mic.
Yes, ma'am.
So you want to give some feedback, or you?
It was a good session, ma'am.
Okay. So they mostly are from second year because third year students are having their exams from tomorrow. Okay, we will schedule the next session for JavaScript, isn't it?
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Then all the students, best of luck for learning and developing your own resume. So I think on next Monday, I want all of you to provide me your resumes. Okay. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, everyone. Have fun.
Okay, all the students may leave the meet if no queries are there.